Okay, well, welcome to another update on Archmage Rises, the greatest role-playing game that Roger is drawing for. So this week is something special, something different, frankly, because we don't have much to say about the progress of the game. Nick, are you still working on the game?
Oh yeah,
So
every day.
Okay, well, that's our status update. So for the rest of this, we thought it would be nice to introduce everybody to another member of the team, Roger Van de Beek. And this is the first time Nick and I are actually seeing his face.
That's right.
Aha, I don't think so.
If you're wondering how Archmage looks so beautiful, it's not because of me or Thomas.
That's true.
Really? That's my fault.
That's right, it's his fault.
Okay. All right.
Now, Roger, every time I've talked to you over the last 3 years, you've never turned on video. It's always just been voice chat. And I thought the reason was because you looked like that fish head man that you use as a profile picture. I just assumed that was a photograph, but
Yeah.
but it's good to see that you are normal looking.
Since I knew I had to come on, I went to the hairdresser, so.
Yeah,
And
he's
now
the
I
most
sort of look decent, I guess.
he's the most handsome Archmage member. I'm sure of that.
Yeah.
Wasn't there this really beautiful piano guy?
Every time we have a guest on, they're better looking than us. It really makes the other videos look terrible. Anyway, okay, so we have a series of questions. We went out to the fans. We asked them if they had any questions for you, Roger, and we have some of our own, and we have some that have been submitted anonymously. So are you ready? Are you ready?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do this. So I'm going to start things off here, and Scott Jacobson asked, what was your path to becoming such an awesome artist? Okay, he wrote awesome artist. I didn't edit that.
No, okay. All right. I guess it's just a lot of training. I was first an IT guy. I worked in Cisco in Amsterdam, and the crisis hit, and it was pretty much nothing to do anymore there.
Sorry, you mean 2007 financial crisis, 2008?
Yeah, 2008, 2009, I think. And then I was just sitting there, driving to work every day, sit there for 8 to 10 hours, not doing anything, just watch South Park and play World of Warcraft.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, yeah, I'm pretty much wasting my life, So I just started doodling, I guess. And then I kind of found out that I kind of like doing that, and that I could just do that all day. And then I figured, why not just try to draw, seriously, and learn a bit about it. And then I started doing that, and then I don't know, 5 years later I met you, and now we've been working on this game for 4.5 years.
If playing World of Warcraft for days on end without any food or sleep is a crime, then I think we're all guilty of that.
Well, I was actually getting paid to do it.
What? Really?
Yeah, I was
Nice.
at work, so.
I love even better.
Yeah. So, but that was it. I was just studying, really. Just studying a lot and just practicing a lot. So,
So that really amazes me. So you were like an IT nerd like me and Nick, and you one day just woke up and decided to transition over to being one of the cool artist types. I don't get that. How do you make that jump?
me neither, man. I don't know. I guess it was always in me or something. I don't know. It sounds weird. I don't really believe so much in talent, but I do believe that there's a natural. I say that you have certain traits, I guess. I was always very good at just seeing something once, and then I could just easily replicate it.
Mm-hmm.
I always have an eye for detail. So I remember when I was younger and in class, I was always the best at drawing, even though I didn't practice it so much.
Mm-hmm.
And this didn't clue you into a future career path?
No. I had no idea.
Nice.
I had no idea at all. No. But I just remember that when even when I was really young, then the teacher said draw an elephant or something, and everybody was I had no idea, and just doing something with a trunk, and I was just easily okay, how does an elephant look? And then I could easily remember it and just draw it.
Nick and I haven't progressed from that, so be kind here.
Yeah.
I'm sure that if you practice it, then you'll be able to.
Nah, I don't think there's any hope for Nick. Actually, we didn't kind of introduce like where you are. So where do you live? Where are you?
I live in the Netherlands. I live in Delft, which is like a tiny version of Amsterdam. Just all the cultural stuff and no drunk English American tourists.
Nice.
Yeah,
That's the best part of the Netherlands.
It's a really cool city. Yeah. So if you ever go there, you should also go to Delft instead of just Amsterdam.
And you speak or kind of can function in several languages. I mean, obviously your English is quite good.
Thank you.
Is your Dutch horrible, or is your Dutch as good?
I'm starting to think that my Dutch is worse than my English sometimes. But English, Dutch, a little bit of German, a little bit of French. Can read sort of Danish, and I know a little bit in Icelandic. But
again, putting us all to shame. Okay. So, what was your first big break in being a professional artist?
I don't really know. I think it was the World of Warcraft cards. But you never really know, like, when it's, like, a big break, you know? I mean, maybe the images I did before that got me to that job, but, like, for the first actual good job that I think I got as a freelance artist was the cards I did for World of Warcraft. At least that was something that I always wanted to do. And then all of a sudden I got an email going like, hey, would you be interested in doing some cards for us? And I was like, yeah.
Wow.
Let's do it.
Like, how long had you been an artist? Kind of professional?
Not so long. Not so long. That was actually like my first cool job. I think I was for 2.5-3 years, something like that.
Wow.
Yeah, I was surprised myself.
So that World of Warcraft gaming really paid off.
Yeah, well, it was like I really loved it. Like I always loved the Blizzard style. Even back when I didn't draw, you know, I always played StarCraft and Diablo and stuff like that. So I guess it kind of finds its way into images I like, and even today, like till this day, I still sort of have that style written over it most of the time when I need to.
That's cool.
So network engineer puts down his Ethernet cable, picks up a pen, and 3 years later he's working for Blizzard. That's incredible.
Yeah, it's yeah.
Well, I never said you had to answer the questions honestly, so.
Okay. Let's edit it out.
That's right. So Scott also asks, in becoming an artist, like how many hours a day did you put into it? Clearly, it wasn't an overnight thing. So, how hard was it to become an artist?
Well, I never really know when you become an artist, but just as soon as you start taking yourself seriously and like I want to do this, then I know from the start because I was still working 8 hours a day, so I was drawing at least 8 hours a day.
Wow.
Yeah, and then most of the time when I got home, I just continued because I was really like, I'm gonna do this because I hate my job now and I want to do something else. And I think like after like 9 months or something that I actually started drawing, I also like quit my job because that kind of gave me that push to really take it seriously and just no way back, you know.
Yep.
Nothing to fall back on, and I just had to make it work. So then I worked even harder, I think. I'm not sure if that's like the right way to do it, but for me it worked. So yeah, I think like somewhere between 8 and 16 hours a day for the first 4 years.
Wow.
Getting that 10,000 hours in from Malcolm Gladwell.
As soon as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so why game art versus, say, comic books or advertising or like all the other kind of forms of art?
I have no idea. It's just rolled into it, I guess. I always liked fantasy art, or at least not fantasy art, just like fantasy games. Wasn't really particularly interested in art. So yeah, just I liked World of Warcraft, Diablo, stuff like that. So whenever I was doing something personal instead of like a study or whatever, I always sort of like took it into that direction. So I guess like when you then first get your first few jobs, it's always for your portfolio, and your personal stuff was then full of fantasy art, so just went that way.
You may have already answered this, but Will Sama asked, who are your references when you think about art in video games?
No idea, man. I am so bad at names that obviously like the stuff that come out of Blizzard is always really cool to look at, but like what Chinese, I don't know the names, but like Chinese Asian artists, what they do nowadays is also really, really cool. Yeah, I don't really have a specific name. I used to, like, when you start out, you always look towards like what other people are doing, and then you compare yourself to the others, and then you're like, oh, nowhere near there. But nowadays I'm more looking like, what am I doing, and then does my client like it, or do I like it? I don't really care so much about the others anymore.
Okay, so I see a lot of artists doing speed painting, and you have a number of morning sketches on your YouTube channel. So what's the idea behind the speed painting?
I guess it's just a practice to just see what you can do. At least that's what I use it for. You know, I just start with nothing really, and no idea, just a blank canvas, just throw down a color and some values, and just see what I can make in 30 minutes. It's just, and you can experiment with colors, with shadows, and you, in those 30 minutes you can sort of like learn of the experiment that you're doing yourself, and you can maybe later apply in a more planned out painting. So cool. It's just having fun, I guess.
Okay, Nick, you got some questions?
I sure do. First question is, you've worked on several other games. What can you tell us about that?
Nothing. It's all in the air. No, I worked for Pathfinder quite a bit as a character designer, because I really like doing characters. But at some point you just have that freedom. Pretty much, you just get like a one-line description of a dude or whatever, and then you can just do whatever you want, and most of the time they like it, so that's really good. Mm-hmm. And I did some like how do you say that, like a online MMO kind of game. Mm-hmm. But that's like on very low resolution. I think it was like the whole game itself is like 500 by 700 or something. So, and then everything has to fit in there. So that's like a design challenge by itself to make every armor look interesting and look good enough. And what can you do with details? Like at some point it just becomes noise or too pixelated and people don't understand. So that's like kind of a good exercise, really. But
every pixel counts.
Yeah. So that's like, I think it's called Rise of Champions. It's pretty cool, I think.
You've done some weird stuff, like a theme park ride at a Gamescom booth.
A theme park ride at a game? No, no, you're no.
Is my information bad?
Yeah, I think you're mixing things up.
Okay, moving on.
No, tell us about the theme park ride. What was that about?
It was it's very NDA. I can't say anything about it. Let's just say that I worked on I worked for a theme park that is like really big in the Netherlands. I think even in Europe.
That's cool. You've done some pretty interesting stuff. You got screwed by a Canadian once. Yeah. Do you find all Canadians are maple syrup guzzling criminals?
I'm starting to get that idea, yeah.
Okay, you worked with some big companies like Blizzard, Hex, Pox, and Pazio. What's that like? I think we answered that already.
Yeah, it's very different, but it's also like the same. Most of the time you just get a description. I think you're just, especially as a freelancer, you're just a number. They have a massive art order, and they just find people to do it. And if you work with them and you're always like meet the deadlines and you're nice to communicate with, you're very likely to get work again.
Awesome. Well, you are very, very easy to communicate with, Roger. Yeah. What's the difference between working like with big companies or working with indies?
I personally really like working with indie companies because you just have much more. Yeah, exactly. You get to meet you have much more of a sort of like personal contact with the people you work with, especially as a freelancer. I mean, I'm sitting here all by myself every day.
Come on, you got fish.
I got fish, and I got a dog.
There you go, and a girlfriend.
No, but the contact you have with your client is just much more personal, and there's more room for debate. Even though you always lose with Thomas, but
that is true.
I know, right? No, but it's it's just instead of just getting like an email saying you need to do this, I need it done by then, and that's it, and then you do it, and it might not even be used in the end. You have no idea. So I like working with indies, and the pay is usually quite a lot less, but you have like secondary how do you say that,
income streams?
No, like benefits sort of.
Yeah.
In it, you can do more with a contract. So I think as a freelance artist, it's not always like, the idea is that like indie pays so little that only if you're like the artist, or that sounds kind of, maybe we need to cut that out. But if you're a good artist, you don't work with indies or something. But that's.
So are you saying there's hope for artists like me? I may be able to find some money.
I think your developer art has been making huge steps lately, so you can get there.
Last time I sent you something, you openly laughed at me, and so I don't think I've got.
I'm just happy to see that you're practicing.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
He just stopped crying about that yesterday.
Yeah, I know. I've finally recovered.
Aw.
Okay, so. What first? So talking about Archmage Rises, then. So what first attracted you to the project?
I think what was the first image that we did? Wasn't that like the classroom?
Yep.
Yeah, I think I think we didn't really know each other back then. I didn't really know the project so well. I think I enjoyed coming up with the classroom and the eye and like stories behind it, and just like the way we sort of worked together on it and how it ended up. I thought it was really good. I think it was one of the best images I did at the time. I still have it in my portfolio. I still really like it.
Yeah,
that's great.
It really held itself up throughout the years. I think like from then on, we just kept working together and sort of like rolled into it further and further. And yeah, I don't know.
Well, I guess what do you like about Archmage Rises? Like, you could work on other games or something, right? So, what kind of stands out special for you about Archmage?
Mostly, I really enjoy that it's pretty much just me working on it. I think it's also like a personal prestige to at some point have a game that's like entirely drawn by just one guy. I think that's really cool.
It's either you or Nick.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'm doing better than Nick still, although he's been getting a lot better lately.
Yeah, the race is closer.
Yeah, so I noticed my tasks are slowly also being reassigned to Nick on Asana. So.
No, I assigned those myself. So.
Oh, really? You're doing that?
I'm sneaking in there. Watch out.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. No, but it's just it's nice. It's cool. It's a cool project.
Okay, so Game Boon Treehugger asks, what piece of artwork for the game was the most fun to work on so far?
I think the classroom was really cool. The title screen was really nice. I think that was the one I worked the longest on, because we really did this whole project of doing, or like I said. Where we did the thumbnails and like really get a clear idea of what we were going for, and then just working it out, doing the iterations, and then adding all those cool deer.
Yes. That was an argument that Roger and I were having, because the tower's coming.
I lost
out of the earth, right? It's like the magic is forming. You're taking the bones of the earth and forming this tower out of it, right? That was the story behind the picture, right? And so all these trees are falling down and water is crashing and stuff. And I'm like, there should be like some deer like running away from the wreckage of this and stuff. And he's like, come on, man. Like, it's so tiny, like so far away. No one's ever going to see these deer. And I'm like, I'll see them. I want to see those deer. And so he's like, I don't even know what a deer looks like at 4 pixels wide, right? And so anyway, I think there was probably 8 iterations just on the deer.
That sounds so funny.
I wonder if anybody actually has noticed the deer. That would be a good thing.
No, I think people did. I think I saw someone comment about it once.
Nice.
Or maybe, yeah.
Okay.
People have noticed. So
that's such a typical Thomas conversation. I love it.
Yeah, like normally I think deer are like the most skittish animals in the forest.
Yeah.
And like the tower is already pretty much there, and then they start running away. All right.
Yeah, they needed to get another mouthful of grass before.
First they were looking like, okay, this is looking pretty good. Okay, this is getting too big. Now I'm out here.
Okay. He'd also like to know, how long does it take to create a typical scene? I think, just to narrow that down, kind of like the background scenes that we have, like to the buildings and stuff.
Oh, yeah, all right. I guess somewhere between 1 day and 2 days.
Okay.
I think, something like that, yeah.
Neil asks, how do you keep a consistent style throughout the many awesome artworks? Those are his words, awesome artworks.
Yeah. I figured that's not coming from you. Nah, that's also like I think it's pretty much because I'm the only one working on it.
Mm-hmm.
That helps a lot. Of course, you get better throughout the years, but because it's sort of like I got hired because I paint in a certain way, I think, right?
Yep.
So, and I pretty much just kept doing that over the years and just get better at it, but doesn't make it look too different. So I guess that's like the easy thing, because I'm the only one working on the project. So,
mm-hmm.
Okay, Will Sama asks, what was the most challenging thing you had to come up with?
I think the UI.
Yeah.
I think the UI is the worst. I'm not a UI artist. So yeah, but the UI definitely. That's it just takes so long, and it's just
Cool. I think it looks
lost
great.
Words. Yeah. Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
But it's just all the small pieces, and like it's a pain in the ass.
You're more of a big brush concept guy.
Yeah, man, just paint away, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a little different than UI.
But it's cool. It's cool to have on my list to have done that. That's pretty. I like it.
Yeah, we're on the third and hopefully final version of the UI.
Mm-hmm.
We've implemented 3. Like, it's not like, we went through 3 versions just in the sketchbook. We actually implemented 3 versions of the UI. So hopefully we're done with that.
I think one of them I wasn't so involved with, right?
Yeah, maybe the first one.
A Skyrim one or something, yeah.
Yeah.
That was good.
That's because we didn't want to pay you for UI work.
No, okay. I get that. Totally get.
How many original Monsters characters did you or will you design for the battle part of the game?
How much money do you still have?
Gobs, just tons. You see the Archmage fridge back there? That's actually a vault filled with cash.
Oh.
Cold cash.
Well, let's say
cold cash.
300.
300. Okay. Will's going to look forward to fighting every single one of them.
Oh, okay.
He asks maybe a slightly more technical question. He says, do you plan on using recoloring or other tricks to have more diversity among the groups? So, for instance, if you're facing 3 goblins, or there's something slightly different about each one of those goblins?
Sure. I guess that's up to you, right? I'm just the artist. I'm not the game designer. If you want to do that, then yeah, sure. I'll be the monkey that draws. It's fine.
Do you think there's small things that you could do to those characters, like especially now that we're animating them, so it limits exactly what you can do, right? Because we're not just pasting the image in there.
Yeah, that's indeed a thing. Like if you, I guess, simple stuff like an eye patch or something, or a, I say that like a trinket and stuff like that is very, I guess, easy to do. But then you have to think like, how much does that add to the character itself? It's not gonna make him very diverse. if you have like, let's say, a Goblin Warrior, and you have 4 different versions of a Goblin Warrior that all sort of have the same gear, so they're like cohesive with one another. But then you have to also like animate for, and then it just starts to become an almost like as a AAA game, because the budget will need to be
quadruple.
I think you're gonna have to empty that vault behind you to do that stuff.
Yeah. I don't think we're gonna do that. But we could do like color filtering or something. We can change the tinge of their skin or something like that. I know sometimes when I've asked for something, you're like, hey, I made 2 or 3 versions of it, and I'm like, hey, they're all good. We'll chuck them all in.
Yeah. I guess like with you can just easily change the hue and stuff. That always helps to make them look very different. Okay.
Okay, well, you've been working on the game for over 3 years now. What keeps you going?
I have a contract.
Very technical.
You remember? You remember that contract?
Oh yeah, we do have a contract.
Yeah, we have a contract. So yeah, no, I'm committed. You know, I mean, we've been working on it for so long. I want to finish it.
Yeah,
he wants people to see his art.
Yeah, I guess. I really want to play the game at some point.
Mm-hmm. Hey, I've given you a key. You could play it right now.
Oh, really? Then let's stop.
Yeah, this interview might change a lot after he's played it.
I'm waiting. I'm waiting for the next build.
Yes, the next build, the good build.
Yeah.
Build 11.
You guys were saying it's going to be the 1st of December, right?
We don't know. We're wasting our time interviewing the artist.
Oh, wait, that was NDA, right? That was NDA.
That's right.
Sorry.
How could you break the contract?
I'm sorry.
Okay, Nick, you got some more questions?
I do. Anonymous writes, I watched the YouTube videos, and it looks like Nick and Thomas are totally amazing to work with. They're handsome, intelligent, funny, really just role models of manliness. So my question is it a facade? What is it really like working with them? Thomas, be honest, did you write this?
Okay, I wrote that question.
Okay. I mean, it's all
anonymously.
True.
I wrote it anonymously.
I'm not gonna answer that.
I want to know what he's gonna say.
Oh, really? But I think I already said that, didn't I?
Okay, all right. When
it's also really good to work with you, Nick. Really good.
Likewise. When you gonna finish the portraits?
That's a question. Is that a question from you?
Sorry, that is a question that I'm reading.
That's another question from Thomas.
This one is probably from Thomas too, but I'm just guessing.
Really? I don't know. As soon as possible. I've been very, very busy with that Gladiator platform thing. Like you guys know about it, but the audience doesn't. But that was like a very big project for a new in-flight gaming platform thing, and they wanted me to creative direct that whole launch of the new platform. So I was really busy with that.
Yeah, it looks great.
Thank you. And now I'm back.
Yay!
Yes, we're
definitely one of the challenges.
I guess like this is the point where you showed the new illustration.
Yeah. This is coming soon. This is one of the challenges of working indie freelancer is you get to be involved in multiple projects, but then you also get shared across multiple projects, and sometimes those things collide.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Gotta eat, you know.
True.
We have 2 teachers who regularly follow the game. For their students interested in game art, what tools or methods do you recommend?
Well, if you do game art, then you're very much just like making assets, I guess. If your direction is more, if your direction is more to be a concept artist, then I suggest you just learn to draw with a pencil.
Mm-hmm.
It's a maniac. Just learn anatomy and like the whole theoretical part of art. You know, like how light works, and like I said, anatomy, composition, all those basic things that you can find on the internet. Work really hard to get a good understanding of that and practice with that. So that will help you to become much more creative, because everybody can think of everything, but there's only a handful of people that can put that what they think up in their mind to put it on paper. So whether you do that with a pencil or on your Wacom tablet or iPad Pro or whatever, it doesn't really matter. It's just a medium you can use, right? So
if you just have 3 tools in a computer, let's say, what tools do you have to have?
You mean like software-wise?
Yeah,
I just use Photoshop, nothing else.
Okay. So Photoshop and a tablet. That's a must.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good tablet.
Last question is, what self-promotion techniques have worked best for you?
I have no idea. that's that's the weird thing. I think I never actually I never looked for work. So I did always like post my stuff, and I tried to be a frequent poster, like on, especially when I was starting out, on sites like Facebook, DeviantArt. Back then it was conceptart.org. Don't think it exists anymore as it used to. Just being frequent in that and posting your new stuff, posting your sketches, helps to sort of like show that you are very active, and you sort of like become, I guess, like have sort of like an online presence, and that really helps in getting people to see your stuff, and also the people that can actually give you jobs. I was always lucky enough to just have work come to me instead of me going out to look for work. So
that's great.
Cool.
Yeah.
Was that it, Nick?
Yep.
Okay.
That's it.
Well, thank you, Roger, for all that you've done on Archmage, and I think people respect the project because the artwork looks good. And if it was all Nick and Thomas programmer art, then people would go, what's this piece of garbage? I've certainly noticed that when I open my laptop to show someone. Like, I tell them, like, hey, I'm working on this thing and stuff, and then I show it to them, and they're like, oh. They start seeing some of the backgrounds and stuff, and then they're like, oh, you're really making a game. Like, it's, not just two guys in their basement just trying to make something. So, thanks.
That's a third guy.
Yeah, there's a third guy. Right. That's right. Up in an apartment in the Netherlands.
Yeah, exactly.
It's cool, man. It's been a pleasure so far working with you guys for all those years. So hopefully not too long anymore. Hopefully we can finish it soon.
It's next year. I mean, it's time we need to
Yeah.
finish it. It's been taking too long.
Yeah.
So
we got to ship.
That's right.
Okay, so that's good. And if anybody would like to say anything to Roger in the comments, they can do that on the YouTube, and we'll put a link out to your YouTube channel so people can watch you speed paint, whether they're things for Archmage or for your other clients, or just personal pieces.
Cool.
And so you made this game, Rise of Champions. Is that what it's called? Rise of Champions?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's a champion.
So you're part of a team of, I forget, like 5, 6, 7, 8 people that put that game together, and people can.
Just 3.
3. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
3 people. That seems to be the magic number.
I guess so.
So
it's just 2 now, though.
Oh, okay, right. So if people want to go and check that out, put in a link for that so they can go and try out Rise of Champions. So thanks, Roger, for being on the weekly update.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you, guys.
Okay, and goodbye, everybody. And I think next week we'll try and get the writer on here.
That's you, right?
No, actually, we have another person on the team. I know.
Oh.
I take credit for everything, especially the artwork.
Okay.
But no, I don't know. I'm gonna approach him and see. Maybe we'll make this a little series. Maybe we can get James back and actually do a real interview instead of that travesty at the CGDC. Anyway,
that was great.
Maybe Nick and I can interview you once.
That'd be great.
There you go.
It'd be a roast.
That's right. Okay. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
All right. See ya.